Is it recording? This is the third time I tried to make this video. Okay, so term versus Jared Orgeron here with Orgeron Life. Term versus whole life. So here we go. This is your life. I'm trying to make sure this is in the field of view without cutting off half my face. So 0 to 100 years old. In the middle is 50. This is your financial risk. When you're born, you don't have a lot of financial risk. Then you start to buy things that you can't really afford to pay off all at once, like a house and car and college and things like that. They start to build up. If you were to die while you have this financial liability, that is a risk for your family. You don't want them to have to be, out of the house and all that stuff. And then as you pay these things down, they become less of a risk. The mortgage is paid off. The kids have gone off, they're not in college anymore, blah, blah, blah. And then now you have assets, right? You've retirement, pension, you've sold off things, whatever it is that you've got down here now. So you don't have these risks anymore. And at the very end, you have another little uptick of financial risk, which is like your final expense policies, like that they cover. This is the burial, cremation, things like that, right? So you're going to have like a $10,000 or $15,000 final expense bill. So this is the kind of curve most people fall into as far as their risks. Now, insurance, by definition, is literally a transfer of risk. You are transferring the risk that you have to the insurance company. And then if you were to incur that loss, right, they would cover it, just like car insurance, right? If you crash with car insurance, they pay for it. You don't have to pay for it. So here, people say, oh, well, why would you ever want a life insurance policy that cancels? Well, because the risk you're covering goes away. So in the term insurance, you're waking up every day knowing that you've got the coverage in place here, that you're covered. If this were to happen, you weren't to make it home one day from work, your family is going to be okay. That's the point of the term insurance. You're not generally dying during this period, so these are much cheaper per dollar amount of coverage. That's why you're seeing 500,000, 250,000, whatnot, because you're not. Most of these policies don't pay out. They just keep the money at the end, unless you have riders that return a premium, things like that. Most people don't, because you got to pay that every month too on top of it. So then you get towards the end here, you have the final expense policies. These are a whole life policy, right? So these are not term. You don't want a term policy to cover your final expenses. That would be ridiculous. You don't know when that day is coming. So you can't have a policy that's going to cancel. So you shouldn't be 65 looking at like a 10-year term policy for your burial insurance. That's not, you want a final expense plan. These are special plans, whole life. You got to be like 50 or older to even apply and qualify for these. Most carriers, these rate tables and stuff are structured around this market and, the mortality rates and all that stuff for here, not here. This is based on like lifestyle and things like that. These are totally different products, totally different structure. So final expense, whole life. Most people are going to be in one of these two categories for insurance. You're either getting term insurance or you're getting final expense insurance. Then you have whole life, which is really just investments. This is an investment vehicle, right? Universal life index meaning like tied to stock market, things like that, indexes, annuities, things like that. This is really made to where you're paying in for a period of time, but then you're going to pay out like an annuity would pay out, or almost like an investment. It is an investment, like stock or something. But there's a lot to there's a lot of tranches to these different products for whole life. This is not the simple thing. People think this is the simple thing. Oh, let me just get whole life policy, $250,000 for $9.99 a month, and I have it for a whole life. That's the unicorn. You're not going to find that. That doesn't exist. This is what exists. Okay, and so don't be looking for 300, 500,000 whole life for $19.99. That's here. Okay, that's like $1,000 a month or something, or who knows. It just depends. But again, totally different purpose. So. Talk with your financial advisor or your uncle or your cat or whatever you go to for advice for your whole life stuff. And then, term and final expense are pretty self-explanatory, and that's where most people are going to fall into. So I just kind of ran it down again here. Just to sum it up, term, temporary for high dollar amounts, most don't pay. That's a good thing. You don't want to die when you're trying to, take care of your family. Final expense, special whole life for burial and cremation, final expenses. Tax-free check to your family. They can do whatever they want. This is not pre-need where you got to pay the funeral home and you got to pay it off. If you die, that's it. You don't pay anymore after this. This is that's how insurance works. So you can make one payment, and if you have coverage, you get all the money. That's how it works with this. These are good. This is a good thing. And then whole life investment, like we talked about. So hope that was helpful to you. Hopefully this one will be good. All right. See you next time.